Good morning, good morning. We are in Tennessee officially. We just crossed over the Mississippi River. Sorry, I missed the bridge back there. Tried to get it, but not quick enough. So this is I-155, and it's a nice little bypass that goes between Memphis and Nashville. I mean, I know it's much closer to Memphis than it is Nashville, but this is gonna get me down to that other US route I was talking about, 45, where we'll go through Jackson, and I'll show you Jackson, Tennessee. It's kind of an interesting looking city as well. I just wanted to show you guys this town because it looks interesting. You can tell it's aged, but it's a good sized town. It's one of those places that just gives off a vibe of having some kind of historical significance, though I would not know what that particular significance might be. And this is I-40 here that we're gonna drive under. But like I said, we're in between Memphis and Nashville at the moment. And we've got a left turn sign that says US 412 truck, directing trucks to get on the interstate. And that's because there's a bypass down here. So this US 45 that we're about to get on, there's a bypass part and there's a business part. Two separate roads. We're gonna jump on the bypass down here as soon as we get access to it. We're technically not supposed to be in this particular area, but we're only gonna be on this part of this road for like a mile and a half. So it's not that big of a deal. And it just prevents having to get on the interstate and use extra fuel to get up to interstate speeds and all that stuff. We're just creep through here real quick and then we'll get on the road that we actually need to be on. I'm sure that there are much more significant parts. If we were able to actually go through the downtown part of Jackson, we'd probably see some much more interesting things, but even going around on the bypass is interesting to me, so that's why I wanted to try to film a little bit of it. Okay, we're approaching this ramp here to get onto 45 bypass. We're gonna take it. Bypass, US 45 South. We're going to connect with US 45 in 2.5 miles down here. This is the town of Jackson, or at least the outside part of it. Jesus, 731-668-5690. Jesus has a phone number? Oh my gosh, where have I been? This is the interesting part of the town that I saw right here. Look at these old buildings. It's pretty cool. This truck behind me, I don't know what the hell he just did. I guess he made his right turn, but he was in the center lane to do it. I guess he's in that much of a hurry to overtake me. But I gotta remember what the speed limit is right here. It's still 30. And that was the town of Jackson. I don't understand what this guy's doing. He was only in a hurry until he got around me. But that's fine. I'm gonna wait till the speed limit increases a bit. I'm not gonna speed right here. But I do know that I need to kind of hurry up today because I was planning on starting my day at 5 this morning. And I made the mistake of hitting the snooze button on my alarm clock. After I hit the snooze button the second time, the stupid alarm didn't go off. I ended up opening my eyes, looking at the clock, and it was like 6:45, and I was like, oh God, no. So this is a public service announcement to beware of the snooze, because it can get you into hot water. You're playing with fire and you don't even know it because you're still half asleep. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm trying to soak all this up right now because I don't ever come over here, and I damn sure don't ever get to go to the Midwest to do my job. I usually am finding myself in East Tennessee and North Carolina like every single week that I come out here to work. And I mean, it's no offense, like, you guys live in South Carolina, North Carolina, I love you guys. I got nothing against you, but I hate driving a truck in that area. I hate driving a truck in Charlotte. I don't like any of it. But we're gonna head down 45 now until we get down into Mississippi and we come across US 72, which we'll be making a left turn on, and then we'll head east back into Alabama. Welcome to Sweet Home, Alabama. Governor Kay Ivey. Did you guys know that in Muscle Shoals they love the governor? And if we all did what we could do. Did you know that? Why am I quoting Lynyrd Skynyrd? Because we're actually going to drive through Muscle Shoals in just a second. I have to stop and get fuel there. Actually, there's a Love's. So that's where I'm going to get fuel to set myself up to take a nice shower in the near future. But I got to deliver this load first. Welcome to Muscle Shoals. We arrived at our fuel stop, at least. I really like Alabama, guys. It's very similar to Georgia, but at the same time, there aren't as many people here, so therefore there's not as much traffic here. But if you look at it on a map, it's pretty similar to the layout of Georgia, which is very familiar to me, so I think that's why I like it so much here. There's a lot of like really pretty scenery in this state too that I've seen while doing my job. Check out the load when I'm here too. Make sure the straps are still tight. I am hauling bricks. Okay, that didn't take too long. Load's doing good. This is where Alabama 157 forks off to the southeast, where we're gonna split off from US 72 now. Actually, 72 is gonna split off from us because it goes that way. We're gonna keep going this way. Open road. Getting on it. I should be there before 2. But I think I need to call the guy. I think I have his number. I need to call him and be like, hey, I'm just confirming that you actually want me to pull my truck up into your neighborhood that you live in. And you're gonna unload this truck like in front of your house. Because remember what I said, guys, this address they gave me is a private residence. It's always best to call and confirm before you make those decisions of pulling a tractor trailer into a neighborhood. That's a pretty big deal. If you screw up, well, it's on you. All of my intuition and all of my training is telling me, hey, this is kind of a red flag, but I gotta do what the customer wants me to do, right? The customer's always right. Which means I'm gonna have to use my skills to make it work. So we're gonna see how this goes. We'll conclude the video at that point. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, we're coming into Guntersville now. I'm gonna get there at like 1:45, and I talked to the broker company about the delivery details, and they confirmed that I am going to deliver this load to a private residence. Wasn't able to talk to the customer on the phone myself, but apparently he's there. He's waiting on me to get there right now. But according to him, he's gonna unload me right there on the road. And I'm kind of wondering, thinking about how I'm gonna take my tarps off and roll them up and everything right there on a narrow neighborhood road. I'm gonna have to figure it out somehow. Guys, I want to film this. I really do. I want to show you the delivery. I think it's interesting. I really have got some questions for this guy. Like, what are you gonna do with these bricks? Like, why did you want to order some recycled bricks from an old house in St. Louis? Like, what made you want this stuff? What are you gonna do with it? I'm just curious. He's obviously, if he's living in one of those mansions up on top of the hill, he's obviously got some wealth going on. So I don't know, I'm just curious. It's none of my business, but at the end of the day, I mean, I did go and pick his load up, so should I ask him? Do I have a right to ask him what he's gonna do with these bricks? Or should I just keep my mouth shut? Like I said, I do want to film this, but out of respect for him being a customer, even though he is like one guy, he doesn't have a company or anything that I know of. And this load of bricks seems to be for personal use, you know, given the fact that I'm delivering it to his house. Out of respect for him and the fact that he's considered as my customer, I'm not going to film the actual delivery because I'm going to respect his privacy. But I am going to film myself finishing the like driving the last few miles to get to his delivery point. Now this town right here, like I said, it's extremely interesting. And it's right off of not a lake, but the Tennessee River. Woo, boy. Got over just in the nick of time. I realized this was a double left turning lane. Basically what screwed me up is that 431 is separated right here, so this is one way. That's what messed me up. All right, now I'm gonna be making a right turn. And guys, the interesting part of the city is actually this way, but we're gonna be turning off. I'd say the most interesting looking part of it. Gotta keep going north on 431 here. But we're gonna be making a right onto 227 here. And I'm probably gonna have to use both lanes to make this turn. Oh God. Yeah, thank you. All right, now the neighborhood is 2.5 miles on the left. This looks like a dam or something right here. Although the water level's the same on both sides, so I don't guess it is a dam. Just a land bridge. There's a couple barges sitting right there. Okay, it's about to get real interesting. I'll tell you what, I will film pulling into the neighborhood, and then I'll film when I get back in the truck after I'm ready to go. I don't really feel comfortable filming myself untarping or anything else because of the circumstances and it being somebody's house. I just would rather respect their privacy, because I'm looking at it from their perspective and I'm thinking, yeah, if I had some truck driver showing up at my house, the last thing I would want is for them to have a camera on their head trying to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? So, as a common courtesy, I'm gonna turn the camera off when I get there. I'm gonna go ahead and get in the left lane. We're going up a hill. Suddenly, we're going up a steep hill. Wow, okay. Suddenly I'm in 6th gear. He said that it was big enough for a truck too, so that's another thing that I'm putting into consideration. Wow, this just got very mountainous all of a sudden. My turn's coming up. I need to be really careful right here. I hope it's not on a blind curve. That would be the worst case scenario right there. Go ahead and put my turn signal on. All right, I see the road. I'm gonna downshift. Grind it. Oh God. This is kind of small, you guys. Okay. Going for it. In 4th gear, I ought to be able to get up this steep ass hill. Wow. No way, man. This is wild. Everything about this load so far has been interesting. Where I picked it up at, where I took my break last night. Okay, is some equipment sitting right here, but oh my God, this is a steep hill. Holy crap. The truck is bogging down in 4th gear and I'm on a steep ass hill. Come on, truck. Don't do this to me. Last thing I need to do is come to a stop right here. I don't guess that site back there is where they're going to unload, because he said to come up to the T intersection, which is up here. Right here. This feels so wrong, you guys. Like it just feels wrong. All right. I'm gonna turn the camera off and see. Man, these are some nice houses. I'll see you guys when I'm done. All right. I'm still sitting here waiting for the guy to show up, but I wanted to point out something. This road right here with these houses in front of me, right here, like you can't see it because the houses are blocking it, but you can, like, I can see in between the houses, and this is like one of the most spectacular views I think I've ever seen. Like, I can't imagine stepping out my back door and seeing a view like that, just overlooking the Tennessee River. We're pretty high up. I mean, you guys saw that freaking hill I climbed to get up here. This is like super fancy, like high value residential, and I'm just sitting here in a freaking truck blocking it all up. Waiting on the guy to come out. Like this just got awkward. Well guys, I'm feeling a little dense again because apparently this house, it's not a private residence, at least not yet. It's under construction. I don't know why I didn't think about it. I looked at it on Google Earth and it didn't look like it was being built. It looked like it was already built from Google Earth. I mean, I didn't see any of the dirt in the lot or anything else. It just looked like every other house that's already finished here. He's unloading me right now, but he's having a lot of issues because of the way that they loaded me in St. Louis. You guys got to watch the time lapse of it, the way that they were putting all the pallets on from the driver's side of the truck and just pushing them over to the passenger side. Well, that's creating issues now because some of those pallets broke because they were pushing on them like that. And so we've picked up quite a bit of bricks. I helped the guy. Like every time he spills a pallet over, he hooks up to a bucket with that skid steer loader, and we have to pick the bricks up by hand. I've already picked up several of them out of the road. I mean, look what it's doing to my stuff. My boots are pink now. So I'm trying to finish. I've got my next load put on me, but it's a crazy one for certain reasons that I won't get into right here at this moment. I feel like I'm really busting it out here, like just pushing myself really hard. In some cases, maybe even pushing myself a little bit too hard. I got overheated again just now, and you know, pulling those tarps off and trying to get them off as fast as I could. And it's got to be close to 100 degrees outside right now, and I was pushing it real hard, getting dizzy again, starting to feel that heat exhaustion feeling, you know, when your freaking head feels like it's swelling up and your heart's beating, and like pouring sweat, and it's just a lot. It's a lot of hard work to do in the heat, and it's hard on your body. And I'm not exactly a young sprout anymore. I mean, I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm feeling it, like it's taking it out of me. But to know that I got it done, you know, in a decent amount of time, it took me half an hour. It usually does, especially when it's hot, to get 2 tarps off and rolled up and everything, and get the load unstrapped. It took about half an hour. By that point, I got back in the truck and the AC trying to cool off, and the next thing I know, I hear like all the bricks falling off the pallet, and I'm just like, oh my God. And it's just me and the operator here. So of course I'm not gonna, you know, expect him to pick those bricks up on his own. It's not his fault that they loaded it like that in St. Louis. So I'm helping him now, and we're trying to get this done. I'm not gonna make it to that appointment. I was supposed to be there by 4 o'clock. I'm not gonna make it. So I guess he wants me to head over there anyway, because he thinks that, you know, they're gonna bend their operating hours for his benefit because he's that important. That's really literally the way he thinks, that everybody's supposed to flex their schedules around him. That's what he expects. But guys, I without being negative again, I'm just trying to say, like, I think that the guy, he has no concept of time, and he's pushing me too hard for the amount of money that he's willing to pay me to do this work. He's pushing me too hard. I'm doing it because of the SAP program, so I'm having to deal with it and just count my losses and appreciate the good exercise I'm getting. But as far as, you know, the compensation, I don't feel like I mean, I know that if I had a dry van job, I wouldn't have to touch any freight, I wouldn't have to do any tarping or anything else, and I could potentially make more money than what I'm making to do this. So it's just another one of those situations that I'm in where I'm like, okay, I'm waiting it out. I know it's August. It's actually been over a year now since I failed that drug test. But what I'm thinking is, if they're going to keep me in this program for a year, I might actually be done with it at the end of this month, because that will be officially a year from the time that I took the return to duty test. After I got assessed by the SAP counselor and everything, I took my return to duty test in August last year. It was like toward the end of August last year. So I'm coming up on that 1 year anniversary where I, you know, took the test, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, thinking that, you know, if my SAP counselor told me, which he did, he's like, I'm gonna put you in the program for the minimum allotted amount of time, which I thought previously was 6 months, but apparently it's a year. So he said, as long as you don't fail another test, I'm gonna keep you in the minimum allotted amount of time. You're obviously a professional driver, you know what you're doing, you have a good work history, and you have a good safety history. So like I said, that 1 year mark will be coming up in just a couple weeks, 2 to 3 more weeks, and I'm gonna get through the rest of this month. This month is the month that is literally trying to kill you if you work outside like I do. I mean, it's rough when it gets that hot and you're having to work that hard. It's like, man, I don't see how people that do it consistently, like, I'm lucky I get to hop back in the truck and get in the AC and sit on my ass when I'm done. I feel sorry for the guys that can't do that, you know, the roofers out there, the masonry guys, you know, the people that work outside and they work their asses off and they don't have any AC, you know, they just have to keep working. Anyway, I'm gonna get back with you in a minute when I get headed out of here. Thanks for watching. Oh, if only. Could you imagine living in a house like that, walking out your back door and seeing a view like the one behind that house? Could you imagine? Okay, so we're gonna get up out of this neighborhood now for all the neighbors. Start thinking things. I've already had several stop and ask questions. Oh yeah, we got this giant hill to descend. This is gonna be fun going down. I'd probably keep it in the same gear that I used to get up at 4th gear. Nice Porsche. Yeah, guys, I'm trying to talk about this kind of stuff without sounding like negative about it or complaining about it. I'm just trying to describe what it's like, because I've never really worked for someone quite like him, you know. I've never actually, I put it in 5th. Screw it. I've never actually had to work for a company quite like his company, where they were just outright greedy, like blatantly greedy, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like the dude, he knows he's greedy, but he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And that feeling that you get when you just busted your ass. I mean, you just worked your ass off and you got something extremely difficult accomplished. And you're like, man, awesome, I did it. I actually pulled that off. I feel pretty good about that. And then before you know it, instead of any gratitude for sticking your neck out, what do you get? You get more work. Need to be careful right there. For sure. All right. You get more work put on you in a nature that makes you feel like the work that you just did was inadequate. It's the only way I know of putting it. Like, that's how it makes you feel. Like, even though you just did the best you could and you went above and beyond what normal companies would expect, or what normal companies ask for, especially companies in the same pay range of what this dude is paying me. Like, you go above and beyond what normal companies would expect. I do it every day. But instead of any gratitude, I get a load put on me that is blatantly obvious that I don't have enough time to do it. Where it's just that like I can look at the time, the appointment time, and just automatically in my head I can already tell that it's not possible to do that load and get there on time. And he puts it on me like it's a normal thing, like I'm just supposed to be able to do it. I'm supposed to somehow use supernatural power to get this done. By looking at these appointment times and looking at my hours of service clock, you wouldn't help but wonder. So it's got me questioning what his motives really are. You know, he doesn't respect limitations. He doesn't consider limitations. And that really bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't work for somebody that thinks like that. I can't actually take somebody like that seriously. I just can't. He's like always trying to get me to cross the line, always seeing how far he can push me before I break. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. He's literally trying to break me. And I know that I'm probably being too upfront with you guys, and I probably shouldn't be saying this kind of stuff and putting it on YouTube, but you guys know how I am, and you know what my goal is, or my approach to vlogging truck driving videos is. You know how I do things, and you know how I want to be straightforward and expose the bullshit. Whenever I encounter it, I'm gonna expose it. That's one reason why I have a YouTube channel. You know, by looking at it that way, thinking of it like that, at least, I mean, even if I'm not popular or I'm not getting a million views on my videos or anything like that, at least, if nothing else, I am exposing the bad stuff. I'm trying to light up the darkness, you know what I'm saying? The reality is that this kind of corrupt, foul play kind of stuff does happen in this industry. There are companies, specific companies, that try to operate according to the rules, you know? And I'm not saying that his company's like that, but I'm just saying there are companies like that break the rules and they don't care. Well, I've already made up and established in my mind that I'm not for that, you know? I'm not trying to break any rules. I'm still trying to repair the damage that was caused by the last rule that I broke. I'm not trying to get into any more, you know, hot water. I can't deal with it anymore, guys. I'm trying to deal with it right now, but only long enough to get what needs to be done accomplished. And from that point out, I'm just trying to get as far away from this company, these people, as I possibly can. I don't trust anybody at my job. I don't trust what they say. I'm just trying to survive it and live through it and make the right choices. And it's crazy that, you know, one mistake that I made caused me to be exposed to all of this kind of stuff. And either you can understand what that means or you can't. But if you can't understand what I mean by making that statement, then don't worry about it. But if you do understand what I'm saying, then there you go. I finally said it. But guys, just know that despite whatever messed up stuff I've been subjected to since I started working here, I have put my best foot forward. I've gone to every length to do things right. Even though under some circumstances I have been put under pressure to do things the wrong way, I'm doing everything in my power to do things right, and I refuse to break any rules or anything else like that. I just want you guys to know that I'm staying true and standing my ground. And you know, he might not like that, but there's really nothing he can do about it. He can fire me, but guess what's gonna happen if he fires me? I'm going to the labor department if he fires me. But I think he's a little bit smarter than that. Like, he knows, like, either I'll do something questionable or I won't. And if I refuse to do it, there's not really anything he can do about it. I'm just trying to take one day at a time, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing. If you guys can still stomach this stuff, then I'll see you in the next video. You take it one video at a time, I'll take it one day at a time, and we'll get through this eventually. All right. Thanks you guys for watching. See you later.